Right. 11 December 2023. And I know that most of you are now on your holidays and it's almost Christmas time. But it's been very, very eventful over the past weekend. We had a lot that has happened. But this week is going to be even more important going forward because what happens this week is going to determine what happens in the future of the politics of Zimbabwe. I've said this over and over again over the past few weeks because obviously now Chavangu has one or two MPs that were actually elected under him this weekend. I think he's got two now. So it's not possible now for Chamisa to continue with the name CCC. That one is a given. But there is an even more concerning piece of information that I've received. And I want to spend a bit more time on this today because I'm very worried about Chamisa. As I've been saying to you guys that I think something has happened to Chamisa and I need to see him actually coming out to speak. Because my belief is that when I ED, these guys have gotten to Chamisa somehow and they've gotten hold of him. That's why you're not seeing him in public. So the only day I'll be comfortable is when I see Chamisa speaking and I see him speaking what is happening now. So I even got more concerning information yesterday, and this is what I want to bring here. So you must understand that when I speak here, I think about these things very carefully. And it worries me when what is happening now, where such a big event like an election that happened this weekend happens, and you don't see the leader of the opposition whose party is being decimated. You don't see him speaking out and fighting to say what is happening here is bad, what happening is evil, and getting all his people behind him. So it's concerning to me. And I had said last week that my belief is that somehow Chamisa is being held somewhere, or they're keeping him away from speaking, or something is preventing him from speaking. So I don't believe that Chamisa is able to do what he's supposed to do, which is to come out in the public and speak. And if this continues through this weekend, and I don't see any movement or if I don't see Chamisa on video speaking, my concern is going to grow even bigger and bigger. So I'm very, very worried that something has happened to Chamisa, and we have to make as much noise as possible because this is not normal. I don't expect Chamisa to just be quiet during a period like this. And I don't just expect him to tweet, just a tweet here and there. So I really expect him to come out strongly the way he did soon after the elections. So I'm very, very concerned, and you should mark this concern of mine. And I want to add some piece of information that I've received this weekend, which is that the leadership within the CCC is failing to get hold of Chamisa. And when they call him, he's not communicating in the normal way. So they're now concerned that something is also happened. So it's not only me, it's also other people. So I spoke to someone who said they've overheard Ncube speaking about this same issue. That is Professor Ncube. So obviously I can't give you more detail than that. But what is happening is that when they call Chamisa, or when Ncube called Chamisa, he didn't respond. He said, I'll call you back. And then when he eventually called, what he said was like gibberish. So like, I was speaking to God yesterday and he said I must do this, this, this. And so everything that they tried to communicate to him, it's about, he speaks about, oh, I spoke to God yesterday, I was with God yesterday, and so on. So I'm concerned that we need to just watch this. People who know what can happen in Zim, you must be very, very concerned. And this is one thing that I'm going to be closely following to see what is happening there. If we don't see Chamisa by Friday, And you know that Monday there's a by what do you call it, nomination court, and we obviously expect the CCC candidates of Chamisa to contest under something if they're going to contest. If we don't see Chamisa providing clarification on video, then there should be a lot of concern about what has happened to him. And people close to Chamisa should now speak out and say, is everything okay? And obviously, if anything was ever to happen to Chamisa, you know that guys like me will be on top of the situation. We're not going to be shy to say, guys, there's something concerning here. And I'm not worried about being wrong on this. If something has happened to Chamisa, it has, and it needs to be explored. Why is Chamisa not available? And why is he, when he's speaking to guys like Ncube, why is he speaking these strange gibberish things? What has happened? And why is he not out here saying what is happening and protesting what is happening and also giving direction? Because basically there's no direction right now on everything that is happening. So everyone just needs to keep watching this. Let's see what is happening to Chamisa. Very, very concerning information that I'm getting. So we need to make sure that he's fine and that the government of ED is not somehow preventing him from doing what he's supposed to do. So this is something I need you guys to take note of. And everyone should be concerned if something has happened. And myself, I'm basically concerned. And I'm not worried about saying this. And obviously, if something does happen, we'll be on top of it. We'll be every day on top of this thing to make sure that Chamisa is safe. I personally don't believe that Chamisa is safe in Zimbabwe to stay there and have this situation that is taking place right now, which is the dispute over the elections. If I was Chamisa, I was going to be out of Zim right now, operating from somewhere else. So that is a very, very big concern for me. The information that I'm getting, that people who normally get hold of Chamisa and talk to him are failing to get him. They're failing to have a coherent conversation with Chamisa. And my source says that they talked to Ncube, and Ncube specifically said when he called Chamisa, Chamisa answered the phone and said, I'll call you back. He didn't call back for a number of days. When he called, he just said, oh, I spoke to God and all that. So I'm worried that something has happened to Chamisa, either physically or from a mental health perspective. I'm very, very worried about what's happening. And we want to see Chamisa taking control of the situation that is there right now. What is happening now is that the party has been taken over. The CCC has been taken over. And this is the time when, if I was the leader of that party, I'll throw as much tantrums as possible. So that is why I want to make sure that all of you guys are aware of the situation. So let's go to comments. Ncube and Chamisa are enemies. That's why they don't speak. That's not correct. This is very worrying to me, guys. Don't underplay this thing. And I know these guys. I know Chamisa. Chamisa, when he goes on camera and he speaks, he clarifies himself. He's not a guy that people can just say, oh, that guy is clueless. He is an advocate. So he's aware of how to conduct himself. He conducts cases. He is not a guy that will sit there and let his party just go. And if you see silence from Chamisa this weekend, going into the by-elections, and you only see the spokespersons, then I would be very, very worried. I don't think this would be normal. Then I want to end with the issue of the pullout from Senate, House of Assembly, and councils. So the information that I have, and what a lot of people have been saying, also Charlton Wende has been out speaking, Mahere has been out speaking, is that the pullout is under consideration. So by the end of this week, we should be able to get an answer on how the pullout is going to happen. There's no way that CCC can stay in the government of ED. So council, Senate, House of Assembly, everyone is going to pull out. That is the decision that is being discussed. So you're going to see a massive backlash against ED. ED has gone rogue, as I said to you. And I'm worried, as I said, and Innocent, I'm watching a comment there. I want us all to watch what's happening to Chamisa and his safety, because I don't think he is where he is right now, where he can do what he's supposed to do. Don't underestimate the ED guys. And we need to now make sure that this gets explored. Sunday, Monday, and this Monday we're going into next week. It's a critical day. If you see no movement by then there's something really wrong, and we need to understand. Something has happened. I don't know what the CCC has in place to protect Chamisa from attacks by ED. What can they do? Let's say this scenario unfolds where Chamisa is grabbed and they put him under lock and key. What scenario? What do they have in place? Because this is a possibility that they can do this. MS is saying Nangagwa is not foolish enough to hurt Chamisa physically. He's not going to hurt him. We'll just take him and lock him up in a room and prevent him from saying anything until the elections are over, or keep him there for good. Don't underestimate the guys you're dealing with. And guys, make as much noise as possible here. If you don't see Chamisa by next week, Monday, if you don't see him speaking and making plans for this thing that is happening right now, because the elections have passed and it's quiet, I don't think that's normal. So I will personally be making as much noise as possible about this, so that we know that nothing has happened at all. And as I said to you, there is a pullout imminent, and that is going to be devastating to this government. If Chamisa pulls out of all these structures, Chamisa's ED's government is going to collapse. If he does that, mark my word, if Chamisa stands on the podium and says, get out of parliament, get out of Senate, get out of councils, ED's government won't last 3 days. This government will collapse because that is the line. That will be the red line that will have been drawn by Chamisa. So let's see what's happening. Let's see if he's okay. And we'll be obviously on top of the situation. When I see Chamisa on a podium speaking, then I'll be happy. And he's alone. He's not guarded by these strange fellas. Then I know that he's fine. So let's watch what happens this week. Critical week. We have, by Friday, we should be knowing the direction. What is happening to CCC? What's happening to the party name? What's happening to the future of our country? Because this is a defining moment. This December, it will be the most important December in your life. You remember I've been saying this since last week, Monday. This is the most important December in our life. So to recap, I've talked to people who talk to Ncube, and they've said there's great concern about Chamisa and if he's okay. And I have great concern about Chamisa and if he's okay. When they speak to him, it's not normal what's happening. And normally that happens when someone is not in a place where they can speak, or when they're... For Chamisa's case, I want to be very, very clear. I'm worried that the ED guys have grabbed him, or they're somehow keeping him under a place where he cannot, or in a place or in a situation where he cannot do what he's supposed to do. So let's watch this. And remember, this is out of concern. And guys like me, who've got a way of expressing these things, we can't just sit there and keep quiet. So if Chamisa is good, he must know that people like me, if anything happens to him, will be the first people to say what's happening now is not normal. So I'm going to end this now. And if you want to look at Juliet, Chamisa has to be okay. Nobody wants chaos in this country. Zimbabweans are very silly. Do you know that, Juliet? Zimbabweans, very, very silly people. If ED was to arrest Chamisa today, you hear people say, oh, why was he standing there? Why didn't he go here? Our people, Right now, your whole party has been stolen, taken, gone. Not a single CCC MP wants to leave council or House of Assembly or Senate. They're sitting there giving excuses. Oh, so what do I do about this? In other countries, go to EFF right now and take that party and see what will happen to you. Those guys, they know how to act. CCC guys, the problem is they think that magically things are going to happen. You need to confront ED. That's your job. So this thing of saying Chamisa is going to do it, chaos. What chaos? The thing that I'm doing now already. This is what we need to do. We need to start. And he's writing on Twitter. I don't want to see him writing. I want to see solid decisions. I want to see Chamisa standing where he's supposed to stand on a stage, making a press conference. I want to see Chamisa's face on video speaking. I don't want to hear that there was a comment or you was seen on a picture. Because remember, this is a decision-making moment. If you see him not making a decision, there's something wrong. If you see Chamisa sitting there and the party is gone, something's wrong. We don't know what it is, but something is wrong. So let's watch Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday, there's going to be filing at the nomination court. If there's no decision, you should know that something has happened to Chamisa. And the most likely thing is that ED has grabbed him and he's putting him under some lock and key, or he's guarding him with a bunch of elements. So I think it's important for us to be aware and also to make sure that we've got the right plans in place in case something like this happens, or if it has happened. So this is it. This is what I wanted to say today. Very, very important week. And we all have great love for Chamisa. We don't want what is happening now in our country. This weekend, only 20% of the people voted. And they all voted for ZANU-PF. Like the bunch of seats that belong to Chamisa have been sent to ZANU-PF. Do you understand what I mean? ED has taken the vote that Chamisa got in August and he has given it to ZANU through a guy called Chabango. And all of you are just sitting there, relaxed. You don't understand the implications of this. This is the beginning of a big, big thing. And this December, we have to be on top of this. We have to know what is going to happen. And as I said, if Chamisa doesn't speak and you don't see any plans, make sure that you make as much noise as possible about this. CC guys in the leadership structures, I don't expect them to just sit there in Parliament, in Senate, and in Council. If you do that, you are enabling this whole thing. I hear some people saying, what will I do if I get recalled, if I leave Parliament, if I step down? What do you think the guys who have been recalled are doing? Do you think they want to be out? But this is an important moment. So everyone needs to step down from those positions. We need to reset this whole thing. And as I said, if everyone steps down, Idi Mnangagwa's government won't last 3 days. It will collapse within 3 days. And I saw someone saying here, ED is going to what? Let me see. They leave Parliament, they won't get paid. Who is getting paid? How were they eating before they were in Parliament? Yeah, that's what I mean. Let's pack this one. We'll be handling this issue over and over again. So thank you very much for watching. I now need to go and work out. My health is getting worse and worse. I don't know what's happening with me, guys. You may end up not being with me for more than a month. Maybe a month is a bit short. Maybe a year. Imagine if I go to a doctor and he tells me, Mr. Gambako, you've got such and such days. That would be crazy. So, hey, guys, that is it. Let me see if there's anything else here. Why don't you go to Zimbabwe and do what you think Chamisa must do? Barbara Dube. Barbara, I'm doing what I need to do. My job is to be here speaking to you. You understand? So when I speak every day, go and look at our videos. Every day we're speaking to 50,000 people, right? That's a rally. So everything that I'm saying here is part of fixing what's happening in Zimbabwe. I don't have to stand in front of ED and say, shoot me, so that I can make my point. And I won't do it. So don't worry at all about me. In fact, what needs to happen in Zimbabwe is now there, it's imminent. Just the pullout, his government will drop. Because he has messed up big time this time. And what they've done now with these by-elections, there is no doubt now in anyone's mind that there is rigging in Zimbabwe. When you take the seats of someone and you give them to your party through a guy that is not popular at all, he's not able to win anything, and not for the first time, but for the second time. So let's stay on top of this, and good morning to you all. I like to talk to you guys, but I have to go now. We'll talk again in the evening if anything comes up. But if anyone has any knowledge of what's happening with Chamisa, if everything is okay, there's my number. Let's have a chat. But I am concerned that something has happened to Chamisa, and they're keeping him from being able to speak and being able to do what he's supposed to do. And we will know by Monday, if there's no solid announcement, we'll know that something has happened. Then we'll have to take the next steps. Thank you very much, everybody, and good morning to you all.